So sitting in a chair. Have your feet hip width and your knees right over your feet. And then take hold of the back of the chair. Lean forward, spread the chest open, pull the shoulder blades in. With your hands on the top of your chair, or the sides of your chair if it's difficult to reach the top of the chair. Lengthen evenly through the right and left sides. And get the groins at the same level, the armpit chest at the same level, size of the waist, size of the chest, lengthening equally without pushing your lumbar forward. So the lumbar spine needs to stay wide. In other words, the buttock flesh, lengthen it downward so that the lumbar stays wide, and then spread the chest open. All right, and then release. Inhale, reach your arms up, interlock your fingers, and then press up into Urdhva Padangusthasana. Change the interlock, and go up again. Exhaling, twist to the left. So hold on to the outer edge of your chair, your outer knee, twisting to the left. And then come back up to center, twist to the right. So just getting some basic movement in the spine. And then from here, sitting on the edge of your chair, take your left knee down toward the floor. So it's mostly I'm sitting on the right buttock now. And stretch your left knee down toward the floor. So it's an asymmetrical position. And reach the left foot a little bit back. Okay, come back to center, go to the other side, and do the same thing with the other leg. So what we're doing here is we're stretching out the front thigh. Lengthen the buttocks down. See that the back is staying even. You might need to push your hand into the chair. So it'll be your left hand into the chair to sit up really tall and evenly. And then come back to center. Do the first side again. It's a little awkward because you might feel like you could come off the chair. So use your right hand to push into the side of the chair and lengthen your left knee down. Reach your left foot back a little bit to open up this, to extend through the left front groin, and then come back, second side. And lengthening through the front groin. Okay, spread the chest open. Reach the foot back a little bit. See that the knee is not winging out, the lower knee, but keep it hanging straight down toward the floor. Of course, you could do this with the blanket on the chair if you need more height. Okay, so now, coming back to the first side, take your foot back, and this time, so it's your left leg, so this time, try taking the leg straight, any amount. If that is difficult to do, what you could do is build up the height of your chair, sit up a little bit taller, and then see if you can get that left leg to stretch back with the leg straight, more or less straight, okay? Keep the heel up. And then now you could try the more classic leg position with the toes angled, the left toes angled a little bit off to the side, and then get the outer heel down, but turn the left outer hip forward. Okay, left outer hip forward and left heel, outer heel down. Okay, release. So that's a variation of Virabhadrasana 1. So now the right leg will go back. Start with the heel up, the right heel up. The holding onto the chair will kind of help you to keep the hips square and the chest square as you stretch the leg. So the left leg is like Virabhadrasana 1, the right leg is stretching back, Virabhadrasana 1, and lengthen out the front of the hip. Now take the classic foot position, so the toes angled slightly to the side now, the outer heel reaching toward the floor in Virabhadrasana 1. And then the difficulty, of course, is to try and turn the hip so that this right outer hip coming forward as much as possible, and then lengthening up through both sides of the trunk. And then release the leg. Come back to the first side. I'm just turning so you can see, but you don't have to turn your chair. You can just keep your chair as it is. I'm just turning so that you can see what's going on with this leg. So extend through the heel. Extend through the heel first. And maybe take your arms up. You might find that taking your arms up gets you more length in the left front hip and then gets more length in the spine here. Then adjust the foot so that now it's the toes are angling slightly to the side, but keep the hips facing forward, legs straight. And come on down, turn around. I'm just going to take my sweater pants off. And so now the right leg goes back. You can take the arms up. Back leg straight, square out the hips, reach up through both arms. Then place the whole foot down, the right foot down, angling the toes slightly to the side. As you reach to that back heel, pressing into that outer edge of the foot and bring the right outer hip forward more and more. Extend through both arms. Okay, and release. So that's Virabhadrasana 1. And coming up to your feet now, take Adho Mukha Svanasana. Put the hands on the chair. Step back into downward dog. Lengthen out through both legs. Press the inner thighs back. Press the outer hips back. Lengthen the armpits, inner and outer armpits. Okay. Step forward. Ardha Uttanasana. And come on up. So put a blanket on the back of your chair, like that, okay? I'm going to give you a side view, all right? So the blanket on the back of your chair. And have a seat. All right. So now leaning back on your chair, you can take hold of the sides of this chair like this, or take your arms underneath. I don't have a regular yoga chair here, but I can still sit my arms underneath. If you have a regular yoga chair, it'll be easier to take the arms underneath. Take the feet on the, up on the front legs of the chair. Do you see? Now, lift up through the abdomen, pull the abdomen back. If you're pregnant, don't think about that, but do think about lifting the uterus up. Lift the uterus up, reach your hands forward, and then leaning into the top bar of the chair, take your head back. Now, if it hurts to take your head back, you can keep your head up, all right? So this is like a little supported back bend here, okay? And then come on up. So you could repeat that, or you could move on to the next stage, which is to lift the hips up and then come back a little bit further into the back bend, okay? So keep your feet up on the heels, on the front legs. Pressing your heels down will make sure also that the chair doesn't tilt. So reach your hands forward, lift the chest up, lift the buttocks up, release the head back. Keep lifting up to the front of the hips, lifting the buttocks higher. Hook your arms under, pull the shoulder blades in, spread the chest open, keep your knees hip width, Good. And then come down and rest. Take a couple of breaths. And then let's do one more time. Now let me just say, right now, the chair for me is hitting like just below my shoulder blades. I can vary that. I can scoot forward like this and then have my upper back more on the top of the chair, or I could scoot back like this and have be like below my shoulder blades here. The one thing I would say is not to have the top of the chair into the lumbar. The lumbar is too vulnerable for that. It's not meant to be used as, as leverage that way. But the upper back, anywhere in the thorax, in the thoracic region, rib cage region, is fine, okay? So you can vary that, you can experiment with that, all right? One last time. Hook your arms through. You can choose whether to have the buttocks forward or back, depending on what part of the back you want to use as your hinge. Inhale, exhale, lift the buttocks up, release the head back, roll the thighs in. Keep the knees hip width as you lift the hips higher and higher. And use gravity to spread the chest open, pull the spine in, and extend the head down. And come down and rest. You can release the arms. All right. So then, of course, the classic use of the chair for back bends is Dvipada Viparita Dandasana. So what I suggest is having, now if you're pregnant, definitely have head support. Everybody, you could do with the mat on the chair. And if you are pregnant, I would suggest having 2 blocks like this, 2 tall blocks at the wall. If you're not pregnant, the blocks are optional, or you can have the blocks lower, or you don't have to have blocks at all. And then if you're pregnant, I would put a bolster and possibly a blanket on top of the bolster. If you're not pregnant, then the head support is optional. And this is for people who have a yoga chair or have an open chair like this, where you can slip your legs through. Okay. And then draw the buttocks under. Draw the buttocks under until the buttocks come off the chair. Catch the sacrum at the edge of the chair. And then push with your hands to lengthen the buttock flesh toward the knees as you lie back. And let's start with the front edge of the chair just below the shoulder blades. And so we're using that front edge of the chair just like we used the top bar of the chair a minute ago. And draping the whole trunk over the chair, releasing the head down, and then stretch your legs straight, okay? Have your feet up on height or down on the floor. I'm coming out so I can watch you. Dvipada Viparita Dandasana on the chair. What are the most important poses? Really useful pose. Now you could have the arms underneath the seat of the chair, holding the back legs, or you could hold the sides of the chair. It's kind of up to you. Yeah. Wrap the shoulders around that front edge of the chair. Spread across the top chest, pull the shoulder blades in. Roll the upper arm bones out. That will assist with the placement of the shoulder blades and the action of the shoulder blades pressing into the back ribs. Lengthen through the sides of the trunk. Just like in the beginning of class, when I asked you to observe the two sides, observe the right and left sides, and see if you're lengthening evenly. It's very common for one side to be tighter than the other. So take a moment here to do a little micro adjusting. And I'll tell you, the way to facilitate the micro adjustment is through the use of the limbs. So first, to make sure that the legs are working evenly, that the legs are level with each other, that you're extending evenly through both heels. And to make sure the thighs are rolling in, inner thighs releasing toward the floor. And working through the legs will help to level the hips. Then bring your attention to the arms. See that the arms are also working evenly. You might notice that one arm reaches more easily than the other, that one arm turns more easily than the other. You will probably notice that one shoulder moves and one shoulder blade moves more than the other. So use the arms to guide your shoulders to being more even. You might need to work a little bit differently with each arm. Throat soft, sides of the neck long. Abdomen soft. Never want to grip the abdomen in back bends. The abdomen should be soft, and uterus is lifting and moving toward the back body. All right. To come out, bring your feet, unhook your arms, hold the top of the chair, sides of the chair, and then bend your legs, walk your feet in. See that the buttocks are on the chair, and then press into your elbows. Exhale, sit up. And then sit neutral. Just sitting in your chair for a moment. See that the buttock flesh is not bunching and getting in the way. And then inhale, exhale. Little Bharadvajasana here. Twist to the left. Take your left hand behind. Hold the back corner of your chair. Wrap the right arm around the top of the chair and do a little twist here. This is to neutralize the spine. And then come back to center. Inhale, exhale. Twist to the other side. Take the right hand behind. Left arm drapes across. If you press the outer heels into the legs of the chair, then that will help to stabilize the pelvis. And when the pelvis is stabilized, then The movement can be in the spine, shoulders, and then release. All right. Come on out of your chair. Let's take a couple of minutes in Prasarita Padottanasana. So if you have a bolster, put it on the seat of your chair. And then your chest, your sternum will be on the bolster like this, okay? Make sure the uterus is not compressed if you're pregnant. If you're not pregnant, you could get more support. So if you have a second chair, or for me, I can use the couch. If you're not pregnant, you could have the whole trunk resting on the bolster in Prasarita Padottanasana. Okay, so it's up to you, but definitely if you're pregnant, just have your sternum on the bolster, not your uterus. No compression of the uterus. All right, and then take a couple of minutes here in Prasarita Padottanasana to quiet the mind, quiet the nervous system, bring the spine into a concave, long, straight, concave position, neither rounded nor back bending, neither flexing nor extending, but just creasing from the hips. See that the legs are strong. See that the legs are firm. If the legs are not firm, then the hips will be uneven, the spine will be uneven. So press evenly into the feet, pull up evenly through the legs, inner thighs back. Okay. So now, come on up. So to end, I'll give you a choice of either chair Sarvangasana or Chatushpadasana on the chair. So if you choose to do Chatushpadasana on the chair, it'll be like this. Let's see. Lying down and then holding on to the chair legs and then pushing up. You can have the feet up on the side bars or on the seat. You could try either. They'll both have different effects. And then repeat that a few times. Or you could be in classic chair Sarvangasana with the bolster at the foot of the chair. Okay? All right. So Alice, you can take chair Sarvangasana or you could take Chatushpadasana on the chair. All right, so go ahead. Good. And so, Lindsay, as the baby gets bigger, then what I recommend is building up the height under your shoulders. So you could put a blanket on top of the bolster and then a folded blanket for your head, just to make the angle a little bit less steep. As the baby gets bigger, it might be more comfortable if the angle is not quite so steep. But you can experiment with that. And Cheryl, you can come up and down a few times. If you get tired, then come down and then go up and down a few times. And after you've done that for a few times, then you can rest in Shavasana with your calves on the chair. So a good 5 minute Sarvangasana, super useful for everybody. Really good for circulation, and even being in an inverted Chatushpadasana like this is also really helpful for circulation, for to move the lymph, for the immune system, to bring the venous return back into the heart and lungs. Super, super important. And then also the head down position, Jalantara Bandha, is really good for quieting the mind, soothing the nervous system. I think it behooves all of us to be very cognizant of the ways that we can regulate our nervous system, as we are going through this pandemic right now, and numbers are spiking even higher. What do they say? 3 times higher than in the summer. So we all need to be calm, cool, collected, and do what we need to do. So I just sent out an email, which you will be receiving if you haven't received it yet. So now I'm going to close out, but those of you who are still in Sarvangasana, you can take your time. There's no rush. And so you can come out whenever you're ready and then take Shavasana for a few minutes. Meanwhile, I will end the meeting, but you can continue as desired. And hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.